Yo, what's good, people? We back. Had to come through, man. This is part 2 or episode 2 of the Strange Fruit series. We're gonna keep this going. We're gonna keep doing this. On the last episode, we did Willie James Howard, and when you listen to that one. When you listen to that one, you hear this name Harry T. Moore come up. Harry T. Moore was the one that was, he was fighting for trying to get some type of justice for the lynching of Willie James Howard, right? So the next one in the series is Harry T. Moore, because they killed him also. It gets nasty like that. Harry T. Moore was somebody, I'm not saying Willie James Howard wasn't. He was just a young man. But Harry T. Moore had accomplished a couple of things. He was one to where, the civil rights movement and everything, he's one of the actual forefathers of it. The actual persons who was doing it first. All that activist work and getting people registered to vote and trying to take power that way, He got killed, gave his life for it. So I'm going to go through this story because, the Willie James Howard lynching, it wasn't the only thing he was working on. Let me just get to it now, man.
Memorial. Christmas Day, 1951. Harriet Moore. Christmas Day, 1951. Harriet Moore came to their home that night, had dinner, shared some cake, talked as a family. Around 10:15, 10:20, a bomb exploded under the Moore's bedroom.
FBI investigations pointed to the KKK for the murders. No one was ever charged.
No one was ever charged for the murder of Harry T. Moore. He was trying to get justice for another murder where no one was ever charged for the murder. So there was a bunch of murders that has happened when no one was ever charged, just cold, before they even invented the term cold case. That's what, they didn't even have a cold case. They just had black people, And it's sad and it's nasty because the KKK was, accredited for doing things like putting bombs in people's houses and everything like that. They couldn't read, but they could build bombs. That's another thing that I want to bring up in the Willie James Howard story. That he wrote a letter to the white girl, Cynthia Goff. He wrote a letter. So that you got to realize that really made them upset also, because most of them couldn't read or write. Most of them couldn't read or write, and you got a 15-year-old black kid with no rights. But he could read and write, and he's trying to get at your daughter. So you see where the envy is coming from with them. Kind of, but not really, because it's really egregious to kill people over that. But sorry.
Harry Moore fought for equal pay for black teachers, got over 100,000 black Americans to register to vote, all during a dark period in Florida for civil rights.
I always thought that it was Tennessee, Alabama, right? It was the state of Florida that was number one in lynching.
This is a replica.
Yeah, Florida got down with it. Florida, the movie Rosewood is about Florida. The Rosewood and Rosewood, they also burnt down a black market in Rosewood, which also the movie Rosewood was about. There was lynching going on there, burning like with the Black Wall Street massacre. That they basically just call that destroying of black financial stronghold, right? That happened in Florida also. So Florida is known for. Then look at what Florida's known for now. It's not by mistake. It's not by mistake.
Of the Morris house here at the Memorial Park and Museum, built on the spot where they were killed. Now, this the 70th year since their death. There's progress on the teaching of their legacy.
The superintendent of schools at that time had warned Harry Moore that he would be fired if he did not stop his activism at that time. So
Bill Gary heads the board of directors for the Moores Memorial Complex, led the campaign for better awareness of their civil rights work, now part of the curriculum in Brevard schools.
beginning with this winter semester, students who attend public schools in Brevard County will learn about the history and the legacy of Harry and Harriet Moore.
Both Moores were educators. Just earlier this year, the Brevard County School Board officially recognized that they were fired for their activism.
For Black Floridians.
So not only will more students be learning about their legacy, they'll be...
So they got fired for their activism, basically trying to get, get power for black people through the way that they hate the most, through the government. And they were educators. They weren't dumb. These were the main people to get lynched back then. Don't think that they were just lynching black people and all black people couldn't read and write and all black people were dumb. Look at the pictures that I put in here. When you see the lynching picture in this video, you see that this is a black man in a suit and tie that was lynched. What do you think they were wearing? Overalls. You know what I'm saying? Overalls and the one of two shirts that they got.
1951 is one that should be spoken right alongside King and Evers.
Harry T. and Harry V. Moore was the first martyrs of the civil rights movement. I know many people never heard of him, but they fought for three things. Harry T. Moore and Harriet Moore fought for equal pay for black teachers. Harry T. Moore investigated the lynchings and every lynching that took place in the state of Florida, and he taught his students how to cast ballots.
In 1934, Harry organized the first Brevard County branch of the NAACP. He went on to organize some 50 more branches of the NAACP throughout the state of Florida. In 1944-45, he organized the Florida State Conference of NAACP branches, which is a statewide organization that still exists today.
Harry T. Moore got over 116,000 blacks to vote. Remember, voting is a big thing. And for Harry T. Moore to do that, he traveled the back roads in Florida with threats against his life.
Unfortunately for Moore, threats became reality on Christmas night, 1951.
Looking into the Groveland 4 case ultimately led to his death because he crossed paths with Sheriff Willis McCall. They said it was him who sent the Klansmen over on Christmas night, December 25th, 1951, and they were hiding in the groves. Approximately 10:20 p.m.
The sheriff sent the Klan. So, like I said, when we're talking these reparation claims, the government officials, law enforcement involved in these murders that nobody was ever held accountable for. That's what we're talking about here.
At night, boom! They said that was the loudest bomb heard around the world.
Harry died on the way to the hospital. His wife, Harriet, lived for another 9 days and died one day after his funeral.
It took more than 50 years after their deaths, but in 2006, then Attorney General Charlie Crist published the names of 4 men believed to be directly responsible for the bombing.
Earl J. Brooklyn, Tillman H. Belvin, Joseph Nelville Cox, and Edward L. Spivey. They're the ones that the suspects in the bombing of Harry T. Moore's house. So, and they never got arrested, but they know their names, their whole lineage needs to pay. This is what the claims are for.
In the years since, the Moores have had display items added to the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. It helps further cement their legacy in history.
Oh, the legacy that the Moors left the world is a gift, a present. We didn't understand it then, but we know it now.
You find very little in history books relating to civil rights about Harry and Harriet Moore. And it's our
You don't find anything in these history books about these lynchings.
mission to change that.
So, I'm going to stop right there. I just wanted to give a profile of these murders that, went unpunished. Nobody ever held accountable for. We're going to profile them because we actually have names and they actually have families. They actually have lineages. They actually have generations of their family. People that are related to them are still alive today. You get what I'm saying? This is what the reparations are for. Maybe if we call it something else, repairment payments. What about that? That sounds better? Like that one? So this is what we're talking about. We're gonna keep it going. I wanna trying to get some information on Claude Neal. Claude Neal is in one I'm looking up now. I may find another one for episode 3. For episode 4, I should say. But that's what I'm looking up now. Let me know. Drop some names on me. Let me know. Educate me also. So I'm gonna go and get out of here, man. I'm out.